Today's Jimquisition offers no great solution to a problem that's ravaging the world. It makes no grand point about the video game industry at large. It is, in essence, one random bloke who got annoyed about something last week and spun it off into a big old rant about some stuff that's just been pissing him off in general. And that's fine! It doesn't help anyone, except me, nominally. But that's fine, because I'm the only one who matters, so the fact that this episode helps me out by getting me to vent some frustration is good. It's good! Watch and enjoy. Or don't, it doesn't matter, because you're not me. On October 11th at about 1 PM, I started to download Mafia 3 from the PlayStation Store. After an initial downloading process, the game appeared on the PS4 dashboard, installed and ready to play, so I hit start and up popped an installation screen. An installation screen that remained quote-unquote installing for quite some time. How much time? Well, by 5 PM of that day, this procedure was 34% complete. By 10:20 PM, it was 55% complete. I didn't play the game until the next day, more than 20 hours after the initial purchase. As I watched that percentage meter take upwards of 10 minutes at a time to move a single number, as I read the reports of other PS4 users having similar problems, I spent a lot of time thinking about how fucking awful consoles are when it comes to the digital distribution and the PC equity that the likes of Sony and Microsoft crave but seem completely bloody inept at. It's obviously no secret that PC is blatantly better than console when it comes to almost all aspects of gaming. It's a known quantity by now. The only edge consoles ever really had were cost and convenience. But they have always proven hugely advantageous elements because, well, the average consumer considers convenience and cost far more important than graphics. Consoles remain popular because a set-it-forget-it system that just hooks up to your TV and plays games straight away is always going to prove popular. So popular, in fact, that the PC market really wasn't doing all that strongly until Steam completely reinvigorated it, and indeed made the game buying process that much more convenient on computers. Now, however, as consoles seem more and more set on emulating computers, they're throwing their advantages away. Last generation, I lamented how consoles were just turning themselves into shit PCs more and more, and with Mafia 3 taking almost a fucking day from purchase to playability, it seems the transformation is fully complete. Downloading full games on consoles isn't usually anywhere near as bad as Mafia 3, but it typically takes a ludicrous amount of time compared to getting the same game on Steam anyway. Neither the PS4 nor the Xbox One are fully equipped to handle the kinds of games they're trying to download, with inferior networks that lead to ridiculous download times. The Xbox One is better than the PS4 in this regard, and according to at least one well-known Reddit post, this is mostly because Sony fucked up and severely limited the amount of data the PS4 is willing to receive at any given time, meaning downloads are spending more time waiting around than actually delivering shit to the system. This said, the Xbox One's no picnic either. In fact, if you take advantage of its Play Anywhere system and download the same game for your console and your computer, it'll do a pretty good job of highlighting the difference. Consoles, of course, still make primary use of physical media, so you can always just buy a game on disc and play it straight away if you don't want to wait around, right? Well, no. Sorry. Last generation, mandatory installations on PlayStation 3 started out as an infrequent, recurring annoyance, often remarkable enough to make news headlines and cause some complaints. Now, it's the norm on both consoles, with pretty much every PS4 and Xbox One game needing to install itself and download additional data before it can be played. At some point, so-called AAA publishers got the impression that disk installation meant they could go hog wild with the amount of data they get to offload to the end user's hard drive. They don't bother compressing things anymore like they used to, those decadent pre-fall of Rome assholes. They just shovel data recklessly onto your hard drives because it's your problem now, not theirs. From launch, it wasn't uncommon to pop a disc in and have to wait as upwards of 50 gigs of bullshit installed, and the numbers only going up from there. When you consider the limitations of hard drive space on each console, this is not only inconsiderate on the part of publishers, it's a total pain in the fucking arse. This, of course, doesn't include the fact that most big budget games now require massive day one patches before they start either. Once again, this has gone from a recurring but remarkable issue to a complete banality. Now so normal, most people just shrug it off as something they've come to expect. But it really shouldn't be considered normal, not when you consider, again, that neither console's very good at downloading huge files. Even when a game needs a big patch on PC, like Mafia 3 certainly fucking did, you'll usually get it downloaded and installed in a negligible amount of time. Not so on console, where these patches, which can be fucking gigantic, take up limited space and chew through a significant portion of potential playtime. Speaking Speaking of playtime, do you remember that huge deal that was made about how you can start playing games as they download to your system? Remember how amazing that sounded and how great they made it look? Yeah, I never forgot how hard they pushed that bullshit, and I've taken note of just how much bullshit was being pushed. While some games have made good on the promise, more often than not I'm confronted by games that straight up lie when they say they're ready to be played. Mafia 3 was one such example, showing up as ready to start on the dashboard but taking me to an installation screen for almost a day. Gears of War 4 on the Xbox One pulled similar crap. It'll tell you it's ready to start, but when you fire it up, all you get is a main menu with all the content inaccessible as it's all still downloading. Yeah, I don't know if things have changed since I first started playing games, but last I checked, a main menu isn't playable fucking content. Pretending your game's ready because it's technically able to start even though all that's usable is a menu full of inaccessible options? Like, what's the shitting point of that even? Other than to maintain a fucking lie that reveals itself to be a lie literally seconds after the game started. Wow, you sure fooled us. Tecmo Koei pulls this bullshit all the time. Pretty much all of their games lately have done this, where they claim to be ready but they're nowhere near done. Battlefront is an example of one of several games to try a different but similarly dishonest approach. Showing up as ready to play long before it is, but offering a map you can wander around as Darth Vader, force-choking NPCs, and that's about it. For ages. Without the game ever directly telling you why this is all you're able to do. Seriously, many of these games never actually inform the players that shit's still installing. They just pop them in these restricted little playpens and leave them there until the real content's ready. Garden Warfare 2 did it as well, I just remembered. Didn't explain it at all, I was confused, I thought the game was bloody broken. And it's not like the games appear as anything other than fully installed on the main dashboards of the consoles themselves. They look done, no progress bars, no notes that things are still downloading or installing. After a relatively brief download process, a download process that would be normal on PC, they just look done and let the games themselves deliver the disappointing news once they're started, that is, if the game bothers to deliver the news at all. According to a source I have at a publisher, there's an actual reason for that, at least on PS4. Sony mandated that games aren't allowed to immediately reveal they're not yet ready to play, ordering publishers to make it so that games appear ready even when they're not. The idea behind this is for Sony to maintain the appearance of fulfilling that promise about playing games before they're downloaded. Unfortunately, that promise didn't take into account big open worlds that can't easily section off content to install piecemeal, nor did it consider the fact that some games like Tecmo Koei's offerings would just work around the mandate by being technically playable even when you can only access the main cooking menu. As games get bigger and more sprawling, Sony and Microsoft's ready-to-play promise becomes less feasible and leads to more dishonesty from publishers who have to try and tell their players a game's good to go when it's not fucking good to go. Console networks are fucking ridiculous, and the way digital distribution is handled is a downright mess. Thanks to massive patches, physical media installations, and strangled download times, the idea of consoles being more convenient than PC has just flown out the fucking window. Now they've just become less convenient PCs, albeit without the open modding community's superior graphical options and customizable hardware that PC offers. Sony and Microsoft both have let this generation steadily erode their biggest justification for remaining to exist, and with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One Scorpio hinting at a future where consoles become obsolete faster and require expensive upgrades, they may very well be set to tank their other big advantage too. And on top of all that, these inferior networks are the ones with online services we have to actually pay for. I mean, when you consider how badly wanting both PSN and Xbox Live are, and how they cost money while PC services don't, it's like watching someone at another table eat a free dinner while you forked over $50 to eat a raw onion that mate D had just got done shoving up his arsehole. There are still things I like about consoles, which is why I even care about this shit in the first place. I like their social features, and right now I prefer playing a lot of games on them just because my PC is in the office and not where the best chairs and big TV is. However, streaming from device to device is only improving. Things like the Steam Link are pretty good at what they do, and soon where a game is stored and where that game is played may not matter at all. As console platform holders continue to claim that their ultimate competitor in the market is the PC platform rather than each other, the likes of Sony and Microsoft are going to have to ask themselves what worth do they really have? And how the hell are they going to compete against something when the best they've managed is an inferior mimicry, more often than not emulating the downsides without the positives and wiping out the few areas in which they actually had an advantage? And they should ask themselves that soon. rather than at a time where they have to ask themselves another question, chiefly, where the fuck did everybody go? That'll about do it for this week. No fuck Konami news or anything. I apologise, I know some people get disappointed when there's no fuck Konami news, but Konami doesn't mess up every single day of the week, even though sometimes it feels like it. Kept the head down this past week, if I'm being honest with you. I do have some stuff lined up that's about them, but in an indirect way, but you're just going to have to wait for it. Sorry. I can't make it up, you know. I'm not a games journalist. Oh, God. That kind of thing makes you popular on YouTube. Not popular enough. Thank God for me. Etc.